So Apple just dropped its all new iPhone 16 series, and these are supposedly one of the best iPhones that are available in the market as of right now. And that is again something that I would just really want to say, but that is not the case over here, because these are one of the least exciting smartphones that I have seen from Apple in the longest time. Because yes, they do look exactly the same as what they looked from the past year, except for a few new colors and a very slight redesign on the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, rather than making a lot of improvements on the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But what is even more exciting about this launch event from today was that Apple just mocked Samsung by saying that these are the only smartphones, the Apple Pro smartphones, to have the best grade 5 titanium on any smartphone in the market. And that was again really a direct attack on Samsung, because we know that the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is one of the only device that does come with a grade 4 titanium, which again it is very common that what Apple was trying to say over here. But apart from that, let us see that what is exciting about all these new iPhones in this year, what is new, what is old, and what are some of the upgrades that we are seeing on these devices over here. So without wasting any time, let us just get a deep dive into this video and see what are all these new iPhones all about. Now to start with, we have got 4 new iPhones in the iPhone 16 series of lineup, that is the iPhone 16, the iPhone 16 Plus, the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But the one that I'm really interested over here in this video is really the iPhone 16, and that is just because of the raw performance and the power and the cost that just start at $799 US, which is just insane. Now when you compare the very same thing with something like the Google Pixel 9, that is again the standard version of the Google Pixel 9 series, that device also costs the very same thing, but at the same price you just do not get a lot of pro features on that device. And also the camera, you are lacking the third camera, but this is something again what this iPhone 16 is making up for, and you will know this thing later in this video. But again, for the same price, the performance on the Google Pixel 9 is not the same as what you get on this iPhone 16. Along with, you will surely get a better battery backup on this iPhone 16, along with a better resale value on this iPhone 16 as well. That is one of the things that I wanted to mention over here. But now again, iPhone 16 is one of those devices that again I am really interested in. Now, there are 4 new iPhones as I just mentioned, but the ones that are the big dogs are again the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max, with most amount of changes, if not so in the looks but in the internals of these devices over here. The iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max, this time it does get a bump in the terms of the display size, because now the iPhone 16 Pro, it is a 6.3 inches display, that is up from 6.1 inches, and the iPhone 16 Pro Max that now has got a 6.9 inches display, that is again up from 6.7 inches from the past year. But again, the dimensions are very slight wide, but not as much wide as what you would expect, because the real difference is really the border reduction technology on these devices that has allowed for bigger displays on these devices, and that is again just because of a slimmer bezel on both of these devices over here in comparison to the iPhone 16 and the 16 Plus. But also you have got the Pro Motion displays on the iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max. But one thing that is surprisingly the same as the one from the past year is really the brightness on these devices over here, because they are not as bright as what you have got from the competition. And even I'm speaking, when you compare this thing with something like the Google Pixel 9 Pro and the 9 Pro XL, those displays are really 3000 nits of peak brightness on those devices in the outdoor condition, versus this iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max that has just got about 2000 nits of peak brightness, that is same to what you got on the iPhone 15 Pro and the 15 Pro from the past year. And that is again something that I just did not like about these iPhones over here. But now again, the HDR brightness on these displays is again 1600 nits, and the regular brightness is just 1000 nits on these new latest iPhones. And that is again something that is very short of the competition, because the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra and the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, they really excel in the terms of the brightness on those displays, versus this one on the iPhone 16 and the 16 Pro Max, which does just fail in the terms of the competition. But yet again, these are not the worst displays that we have seen in the market, but just not as good as the competition. Now the iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max, they will come in 4 new different colors, that is the natural black titanium and the natural titanium, the desert titanium and the white titanium. Now again, the black titanium and the desert titanium are the ones that are the new colors, and I would just say that this desert titanium color, it does look a bit more like what we had on the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max from the past year. But again, I just love the color on those devices, and I just love this new desert titanium color on the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max as well. And I think this is the color that I will be going for these new latest iPhones for this year over here. But now also, one another difference between the iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max is in the terms of the base storage, because the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it does come with a 256GB of the base storage versus a 128GB of the base storage on the iPhone 16 Pro. But if you will take my opinion, I will say just go with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and that is just because of a higher variant on the base storage, and that is again something that if you bump up the storage on the iPhone 16 Pro, it would just cost almost the same as the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and at that point it just does not make any sense to buy the iPhone 16 Pro over here. But that is again something that is just my opinion over here. But now let us talk about the iPhone 16 and the 16 Plus, because these are one of the most exciting devices that we are seeing in this new iPhone 16 series of lineup over here. Now the displays on the iPhone 16 and the 16 Plus are not much very different than what we have seen on the iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max, except for a smaller size on both of this display. Now the iPhone 16, it is a 6.1 inches device versus the iPhone 16 Plus, which is again a 6.7 inches display. That is again something that has not changed from the past year. But another thing that has not changed on this display is the lack of the Pro motion on this non-Pro devices over here, and that is again something that is a bummer for me, at least if not for all the other peoples. But yet again, I would say the display quality is on par with what you would expect from a smartphone that costs about $799 US. But if you just want a better display, I would say just go with something like the Google Pixel 9 Pro. That is again one of the devices that has got a better display in this day and time. Now, speaking of the colors on this iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus, we have got 5 new colors on these devices. That is the ultramarine color, the teal color, the pink color, the white color and the black color. And the ones that are my favorite on these devices over here are really the ultramarine color, and also the teal color is something that I just loved about in all these color choices over here. But also I just love the black color on this iPhone 16 and the 16 Plus as well. And again, all these new 4 iPhones, they will come with a ceramic shield material on the front and the back, and that is something that Apple also claimed that this new ceramic shield material, it will be 2 times stronger than what we have in any other smartphone that we have got in the market. And that is again something that is quite a bold claim in my opinion, but that is something again that is to be tested, and we will see more from the Jerry Rig Everything test that whether it is the true case over here or no. Now, when it comes to the charging speeds on these iPhones, these are not the ones that are best in the terms of the charging speed. And when we compare these smartphones with something like the best of the Samsungs and the Googles and the OnePlus, these smartphones are still lacking in this day and time in the terms of the charging speeds over here. But now you have got a faster 25 watt of fast MagSafe charging on the iPhone 16 series over here, and that is again with a 30 watt of adapter if we have at the home. And also the Qi 2 charging over here, it just supports about I would say 15 watt of the wireless charging on these smartphones over here. But if you are going for a wired connection, it will still be a 20 watt of fast charging, and I would just not even call it a fast charging. But yet again, these smartphones will have a longer battery life in comparison to what we had on the iPhone 15 series, and that is just because of a larger capacity of the battery on all these iPhones over here. But now the best battery backup that you will get in the entire lineup is really in the iPhone 16 Pro Max over here. And again, I just do not know as of filming this video that what is the exact capacity of battery on these new iPhones, but Apple claims that it is one of the best that they have to deliver. But now these new iPhones, they do also come with a new and improved Wi-Fi 7 modem over here, along with also we have got a Bluetooth 5.3 compatibility. That is something that is amazing. But now one physical change on the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus is really the change of the camera orientation in the terms of the design on these smartphones over here. That is something that is new. But another thing that is new for all the 4 new iPhones over here is the inclusion of this all new camera control button on these new devices over here. Now this is something that I was surprised to see, because the iPhone 16 and the 16 Plus are also the devices that are getting this all new feature, and this is not just exclusive to the iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max over here. Now what you can do with this all new button is that you can quickly have an access to all the camera tools that are available in the camera application of this device, or any other application basically that does make a use of the camera application over here. Now simply you need to slide your finger to adjust the camera functions over here. For example, you can just click on the button to open the camera application, and then you can click again to be able to take a photograph. And if you are in the video mode, you can just click on this button over here to be able to take a video. And also you can just press open the controls like the zoom on this thing over here, and with a double right press you can just select any other camera setting. You just need to slide your finger through this button over here, and this is again something that I do not know exactly how it works until I have this thing over here in the studio and I am able to test this all new feature over here. But now this button over here, it is made of ceramic coating as well, and it does really fit into the frame of this iPhone 16 series over here. And again it is just flush, and you just do not see this bump over here, which is again something that is a smart design of Apple over here. But again this feature will also work very well with the Apple Intelligence feature on this iPhone 16 series over here, because you can do a few things just like taking a photograph with this button and allowing Google to search a similar image, and also you can bring this thing in front of a poster which has got an event. It will take a photograph when you just press on this button over here, and it will be able to get this thing recorded to your calendar and set up a reminder for that particular event for you in the calendar, which is again something that is smart. And I would say it is smarter than most of the features that we have got on the Google Pixel smartphones in this day and time. But now let us talk about the CPU and the GPU performance on this all new latest iPhones over here, because now again we have got a different CPU in the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus versus what we have got on the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But to start with, the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, they do come with an all new A18 Bionic chip over here, which is again something that is more powerful than most of the processors that we have got in the market. For example, the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, even though that it has got this all new G4 Tensor chip over here, it is not as powerful as what we have got on these new iPhones over here. Now again, this A18 Apple Silicon, it does come with a 16 core of neural engine that is 2 times faster than what we saw on iPhone 15 series from the past year, and also it has got a 17% more of the memory bandwidth on these devices, and that is just because of the more complex AI tasks that these devices are able to perform, which is again something great. And also these chips are made on the all new second generation of the 3nm technology. That is again one of the only ones that we have got in the market as of right now. But also we have got a 6 core of CPU with 2 performance core and 4 efficiency core on this new 18 chip over here, that also takes 30% of less power in comparison to the A16 Bionic chip that what we had on the iPhone 15 series. And also we have got an all new 5-core GPU on these new chips over here as well, which is again 40% faster than what we had on the iPhone 15 with the A16 Bionic chip. And also there is a new thermal substrate layer on these new iPhones over here to be able to dissipate the heat, because yes, these new iPhones, they do have the enablement of the ray tracing on these iPhones over here, and that is again better than ever. And also it will be able to get 5 times more of the frame rates on this device versus the iPhone 15 from the past year. And I am not again comparing it with the iPhone 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max, because those were a better chips on that device over there. But now again we have also got better battery lives on these iPhones over over here, and that is again just because of a more efficient chip, that is the A18 Bionic chip over here, along with the larger batteries over here. But now if we compare this very same thing to the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the A18 Pro Bionic chip is not very much difference, and mostly the only difference is really in the terms of the 6-core GPU on this iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max versus the A18 one that has got a 5-core GPU over here. But if we compare it to something like the A17 Pro Bionic chip from the past year, it is about 20% more efficient, and also it is 2 times better in the terms of the ray tracing, and also it is about 15% faster in the terms of the performance in comparison to the one from the past year, and also it has got a new and a faster ISP on this new chip over here. But now one of the major changes that we have seen in all these new iPhones over here is really in the terms of the camera setup, and I can just say with confidence that even the base variant of the iPhones that we have got in this year, they are mostly capable than most of the smartphones that we have got in the market right now. But now this iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus has got an all new 48 megapixel main camera sensor that has got a 26 mm of focal length, and also it has got about f1.6 of the aperture. But now it is called a fusion camera sensor over here just because you can either use it as a 48 megapixel or 24 megapixel camera sensor, or you can use it as a 2-time telephoto camera sensor without any loss in the terms of the image quality over here, which is just amazing. Now this is not something that is new in any smartphone that we have seen in the market, because a similar thing is already existing in a lot of Android smartphones where you can just pinch into the 48 megapixel image and crop in to give a 12 megapixel a lossless image over here, and that is again the same case with this new camera sensor over here. But to the other sensor that we have got on this thing over here is again a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera sensor, and that is again at a 13 mm of focal length and f2.2 aperture, and this lens can also act as a macro camera as well, which really just does mean that this dual camera setup on this iPhone 16 and the 16 Plus, it will be able to give you a 4 camera setup on these devices over here, which is just insane, because again it is not really a 4 camera setup, but it is again something that is possible due to all the AI things and all the computational photography that these new iPhones are really capable of. But now if we talk about the cameras on the 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max, they are a bit more better, and that is again something just because of a better ISP that is sitting on this A18 Pro Bionic chip over here. Now this iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max has got the main camera that is again the same, I would say 48 megapixel camera, but this one is not an f1.6 camera sensor, but it is an f1.78 aperture, which means that it is a smaller camera sensor than what we have got on the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, and that is again something that I do not know why. But what is amazing about this main camera sensor is that it does come with second generation of the sensor shift technology over here, which is again something that is not available on the regular iPhones over here. But now also you have got a new and improved 48 megapixel ultra wide camera on this iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max, and also the focal length of this thing is 13 mm with f2.2 aperture, which is again a big improvement than what we had from the past year. But the third camera sensor is really the telephoto camera sensor, that is again a 12 megapixel 5x telephoto camera sensor with a 120 mm of focal length range, thanks to all the prisms that are fit inside of this thing over here. And again this thing is the same f2.8 aperture as what we saw with the iPhone 15 Pro Max from the past year. But one major thing that really just separates the iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max from the 16 Plus and the iPhone 16 is really the inclusion of the 4 microphone array on the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. That does mean that if we combine this new array of the microphones in this thing with the AI software that is being enabled on these devices, you will get studio quality of microphones on this device. Along with, you will be able to also reduce the background noise thanks to the AI features on this device over here. But now this AI feature is also enabled by the studio level auto mix feature on these iPhones over here, that just lets you adjust the way that the voice is in your video using 3 different voice options. That is the in-frame option, the studio option, and the cinematic option over here. Now again, this is something that is to be tested when these new iPhones really arrive in the studio, and I am particularly just excited about this new feature on these iPhones over here. But more on to the Pro models over here, we have also got the inclusion of the cinematic slow motion at 4K 120 FPS, and that is something that I have not seen in any smartphone in this day and time. But also we have got the inclusion of the 4K recording, that is the regular one, at 120 FPS as well. And if we compare this thing with iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, they are just capped at 4K 60 FPS of recording. That is again something that is not bad, but that is not as good as what you are getting on this latest iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max. But none of these cameras are really a 1-inch camera sensor. That is something that I really want Apple to just implement in all these new iPhones over here, since we already know that this technology is already existing, and it is existing from quite a few years now. And also all these new iPhones, they are not capable of 8K recording, and that is something that is available on the Google Pixel 9 Pro and the 9 Pro XL, even though technically that the hardware on those devices is not as good. I just think so that Apple could have also included something like a video boost technology on these devices to be able to upscale the same video into 8K quality. But again, something that is just a thought, and I would just want Apple to have this thing on their iPhones as well. Now also, what is different on the iPhone 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max is that they're able to record in the terms of the Dolby Atmos as well. Along with, we are also able to record the ProRes video along with the log format on all these iPhone 16 Pros and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But also, once you have taken a cinematic video on these new latest iPhone, the 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max, you can also adjust the FPS on these videos over here, and to be able to make this video slow or fast after the video is shot in the gallery. But now, as to the AI features on this iPhone 16 series, they are not much very different than what we saw with the launch of the iOS 18, and we already know a few of these features will be just available starting in December or maybe at the end of this year over here. And this is again something that I was expecting, and this is the same thing that what we saw in this event as well. So yes, a lot of these new AI features would not be available at the launch of this iPhone 16 series over here, but again, some of the features would be available, and some of these features would be again available in the North American market to start with, or maybe also the Europe. There are also a lot of good features on these new devices, and those are basically based on the things like the language, the image, the action, the personal context, and so much so in the terms of the Apple Intelligence features. Example, we have now got features like writing tools to rewrite the notes and emails and more with the way that you want to be, maybe in a professional tone or maybe in a very casual tone. If you just want to reply to something or maybe someone on the Slack and you just want to be in a more professional way, this thing will be able to rewrite the same thing for you. Or also, if you just want to send an email, this thing over here will also do a proofreading for you as well. That is again something that is great. But also, you can create some gen emojis as well to make the iMessages a bit more personal, and also you can use the image playground to be able to create a new image that is completely new, and that is again something that is very similar to what you have got on the Google Pixel devices and the Samsung devices, but just really a different version and a different way to do the very same thing over here. But also now you can do a few more things on these new latest iPhones as well. For example, you can just pull out any image that was lying in your gallery from maybe say from the past 10 years. You will be able to use Siri to be able to be connected to your personal stuff and just search anything in your gallery. That is again something that is amazing. But also you can use the features like the email summaries, the notification summaries, and the priority notification. That is something that is great, because maybe sometimes when you get an email and when you just open your maybe Yahoo mailbox or the Google mailbox, you just do not want to open all the emails over here, and all you just want to see is the summary of the email. Just below you see the heading of the email over there, and this is something again that is possible with this all new email summarize feature over here. But also this all new Siri can go deep into your personal stuff on your iPhone. For example, you can delete duplicate photographs from the Photos application by using the Siri thing over there, and that is again something that is one of the best features about Siri, because even you just should not need to go into the Photos application. You can just activate the Siri and it will be able to do all the things that you just want this thing to do over here. But also this personal context will allow you to do personal things like asking Siri to send a particular photo to someone or play a song suggested to you by your friend in the iMessages application. You can just ask Siri to just play the song and it will be able to open this Apple Music over here. And again, you would need the subscription for Apple Music to be able to use this feature. That is again something that is a common sense. But yet again, we have got all these new AI features on this iPhone 16 series over here. And again, I would say a few of these features are still gimmick, but a few of them are really useful on these new iPhones over here. But yet again, do not buy this iPhone for the AI features, because again, a few of the features would be available at the end of this year, or maybe a few others by the starting of the next year or by the mid of the next year. That is something that you would just not want to have from a device that is a brand new one. And well, now with that said, that was all that I wanted to share about all these new iPhones over here in this video. And in my opinion, I think so that these are one of the best iPhones that you can buy in this day and time. But also, these are one of the most boring iPhones that we have seen in this day and time. And that is just because of the same design that we have been seeing on these iPhones from the quite past few years over here. But also, because of the difference is not just very much if we just talk about the Pro and the Pro Max. But if you are looking to buy a new iPhone in this year, I would just say just pick up the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, because these devices are now much more capable, and these have again now got the action button along with the camera control button. And also these are almost the same devices as the more premium Pro models, but at a much cheaper price, and that just makes it a very sweet deal in my opinion. And that was all that I wanted to share in this video. My name is Anshul. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.